The Biden administration is making mental health a top priority. The U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services launching the new 3-digit number for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline right here in Philadelphia. So instead of the traditional 10-digit number, people in crisis or distress can just call 988 to speak to someone who can provide emotional support. It's part of the administration's strategy to strengthen mental health care all around the country.
Lives are at stake. Failure is not an option. That's what today's about. We have a lot of work ahead, but together, when we launch 988, we can turn hardship into hope.
Really represent.
Dr. Alice Stanford was also in attendance at today's launch, and she is now the Health and Human Services Regional 3 Director. And before the event, she stopped by Fox29 to talk to Mike and Alex this morning on Good Day. And she says this new number will be easier for people to remember, an important tool for mental health.
It's 3 digits.
Yep.
The 8 is right next to the 9. If English is a second language, it's easier. For folks with disabilities, it's easier. And it's more that we heard the cry for help, and this is a response. So yes, it's easy, but it also recognizes that, as you mentioned, mental health is increasing in our country, that 1 person dies from suicide every 11 minutes. And this is Health and Human Services and many other organizations saying, we hear you, and this is going to make it easier for you to get that help and the resources.
It's interesting. I'm glad you answered that, because I was wondering, how did they choose 88? It's far away from the 1, so you're not going to do the 911.
That is correct.
And the psychology of picking those numbers.
But it's all the same services as the Lifeline previously?
It's all the same services, and that previous Lifeline will still be active. So granted, the launch is tomorrow, but 911 took literally 50 years for it to really be operational.
So true.
And there is a backup for that 988 call, that it will be routed and such. And so, yes.
Okay, tomorrow. Would it like it start at midnight or something like that? Or?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And again, the original hotline will be available. And what's so important about Philadelphia is it's being launched, and everyone is hearing about it nationally, starting right here in Philly, because Philly has some of the best response rates for mobile crisis and for answering the crisis and suicide hotlines.
I didn't realize that.
Yes.
What's the process
Right.
to remind folks? Is it a counselor that's on the other line?
Excellent question. So there are 3 ways. So number 1, you can call 988. When you get 988, it may be a prompt for English or Spanish. It will be a prompt for English or Spanish. Number 2, you can text 988. There'll be a survey to ask about what the immediate issue is, and you can also chat 988lifeline.org, and you can put in information. And in Philadelphia, at places like the Consortium, they will send out a mobile crisis unit if something needs to happen immediately, and send a van to you to get the help to hopefully prevent that suicide from happening.
This is so much better than just that 800 number.
And we want to remind you that new phone number officially launches tomorrow, 988. The number and information is right there on your screen. If you or someone you know needs help, it's a lifeline, 988.